Hello, folks. This is your host, Tammy Turner, and you are now listening to the Tiara Talk Show. We bring you rare interviews with the makers of Disney magic. Whether they be singers, actors, Imagineers, animators, they've all made their mark on the Disney name. To find out more about the show and other episodes, head to our official website at www.thetiaratalkshow.com. Be sure to look below at the show notes in the Show More section for links to our Twitter and Facebook pages, including videos and websites mentioned in the following interview. Photos and audio clips that are featured in the show belong to their rightful owners and are used for educational purposes only. All guest opinions are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the opinions of the Tiara Talk Show or the host. The Tiara Talk Show is not associated with the Disney Company. Thanks again for tuning in to this week's episode, and from all of us here at the Tiara Talk Show, have a hoop-de-doo day. 2 weeks ago, the Tiara Talk Show premiered a new segment called Cast Member Corner, and in this segment we speak to cast members of the Disney theme parks from all around the world. Today we head back to Cast Member Corner to talk with some more cast members who also starred in Disney's MGM Studios show, The Spirit of Pocahontas, which premiered at the Premiere Theater on June 23, 1995, running until February 24, 1996.
Hi, I'm Audri T. Dalio, and I was Pocahontas.
Hello, this is Jeff LePoutre, and I was a male swing.
Hi, this is Glenn Arceneaux. I played the canoe and tumbling track of the show.
Hi, I'm Martin Olvera, and I played a warrior, which also did the bear track, and warrior, which portrayed an Englishman, and also did the eagle track in Colors of the Wind.
Hi, my name is Michael Hartson, and I played John Smith.
Hi, my name is Juan Castro, and I played the wolf track and also the male dance swing.
Hi, my name is Mark Richard Taylor, and I played John Smith.
So the first question I have for you guys is, how did each of you become attached to this project?
Well, when the auditions came up, I was actually in character entertainment at MGM Studios. So from there, I just auditioned for the show, and that's how I got to be in the show.
Me, I actually did not want to go through the audition. I got pushed to go, and I ended up having the best experience of my life. And it was absolutely amazing.
And I'm the person that pushed him to go because I was wanting him to get into a show that I knew I was going to be in, but I said, no, I've got another show I'm going to do. I wanted him to do that show, so I'm the one that pushed Jeff, and I'm so happy that he was able to be in it. It was such an instrumental part for him to be in the show.
You always have to take the credit, don't you?
It's the truth. I've always wanted to.
I did not know that.
Disney used my uncle for, the artist used parts of his body for different parts of the movie, and so Disney called him when they were doing this project and asked him if he had any sons or relatives that wanted to do the show. Audition for the show, native guys, and so I was still in high school, and when he's like, "Hey, you want to work at Disney?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." So I brought my dance outfit, my Native American dance outfit, to the audition because it was my first audition. Even though we danced and doing shows all around the world doing our native dances, this was my first audition for a show, and so I didn't know what I was walking into. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Real quick, I was actually in Los Angeles, and I just come down to Florida because my wife had a best friend down here, and someone worked at Disney, and we ended up renting their condo. And they said, "Hey, by the way, a block from here, they're having auditions for this show. Do you want to go?" And I don't sing really, as we all know. And I said, what the heck? So I just went down. We auditioned for it, got the call the next day that I actually got it. So my first couple of days here was great.
Yeah, well, I was working at Disney for about 3 or 4 years, just doing all the parades and basically auditioning for everything. And this was one of the shows I auditioned for. I was actually playing Aladdin, one of the principals of Aladdin at Disney at the Magic Kingdom. And then I decided to audition and loved the show.
Mine was a happy accident. I was I had just finished a national tour of Camelot. I had just come back from Hawaii. I landed in New York. I had heard some people talk about working for Disney, and I had always stuck my nose up at theme park entertainment. I just didn't think it was real theater. But then somebody on the tour told me how much money they made, and I said, you know what? I want to go check that out. So they had an audition in New York City at the time for Tokyo Disneyland. It wasn't even for the park in Orlando. So I went in, and I guess I had my long hair from the tour from Camelot. My hair was already long. I had walked in, and the casting director said, "Oh my God, can you read this, sing this?" It ended up being the John Smith stuff. And then they said, "How quickly can you be down in Orlando?" And I said, I just got back from Hawaii. I need a few days. So they said, "Okay, we'll give you a few days," and then and that's how that started.
And Mark, do you remember when because I had done like the first part of it, and then Mark came in and sang the John Smith song, and I left. I was not a happy guy because I'm like, oh, come on, this is what John Smith is. But they called me back in. They said, no, it's going to be okay.
You were fine. You were your own harshest critic.
My roommate in college played Phantom in New York. So, I just I have a lot of people that sing around me.
Can you guys talk a little bit about rehearsals for the show, and were there any scenes removed from the final production before it reached the audiences?
Well, I was talking about this the other day. I know there was something that was taken out. I mean, first of all, the experience of the production team totally exceeded my expectations, and I was thrilled because it was like regular theater. When I met the Ron, the choreographer, and then Paul Kiernan was working with the acting, Chase, the show director. All of them were superb. But we had gone through a couple different things, and this came in a little bit later, but Michael will remember this. They had a grand entrance for Pocahontas, of course. She came out of the fire. So they wanted something equally spectacular for John Smith. And they decided they wanted to have Michael and I on a rope swing with loaded pyro on our backs to land on a rake stage and then run down to the bottom of the stage and start our song. Uh-huh. And Michael and I looked at each other like, is this crazy? We got loaded pyro on our back and we're on this rope swing. So
not good.
No, so Michael and I decided this is a little crazy. That got cut. so that the rope swing got cut, but we still, we appeared from the sails and the smoke, but we never really had the exciting rope swing anymore.
I remember swinging back off stage because I couldn't dismount. So.
Yeah.
Hello, bye.
like a pendulum back and forth. All right, cut. Let's try that again.
There was something else that was cut also. You guys absolutely remember, I'm sure. The Killer Waterfall.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, Waterfall.
Beautiful. It was beautiful, but it never.
It was absolutely beautiful, and it never worked, and it was just spitting everywhere on stage, and it was a train wreck on stage because we all
made everything very slippery.
It was terrible, beautiful, and then noisy. Also, the mics would pick up the noise of the. And it's like trying to speak, and all you hear is the water in the back. It's just like. So that got cut too, and it got replaced by vines and stuff.
Yeah,
is that it? Yeah.
Vines, yeah.
For people who don't work at Disney before, who haven't worked at Disney before, first of all, there's like the Disney look, and of course all of us showed up with long hair, which is not really the Disney look, and a few of us got stopped at security, and they didn't want to let us in for rehearsals, so they had to have a memo. Saying that, you're going to see people with long hair and, it's okay.
Mohawks.
Mohawks, that's right. I mean, Juan, you had a mohawk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Glenn?
Oh, I had one of the wigs, and I remember.
Oh, the wig that fell after you tumbled. Yeah.
No, that wasn't me.
That
was my deer skirt that fell after I tumbled.
The deer skirt. That's right.
Somebody tumbled, and when they were finished, then the wig kept tumbling in the air and just fell on stage. Who was that?
I have no idea who that was.
Harrison. Yes.
Yes. That's it.
A beautiful tumble pass, and then he stops, and the wig falls after.
Sorry, one of our original Pocahontas was also a Cher impersonator.
Oh,
yes.
It got so crazy, we decided we needed a break, and we did a spoof show where she played Pocahontas as Cher. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing.
I do have the tape of that.
I was gonna say, I think I have that tape somewhere.
Well, I want a copy.
But
I gotta find it. Yeah.
Getting a contract on a cruise line as Cher and never opened the show.
Yeah,
and
she
never
did. Like, she left the day before, didn't she? Wasn't it the day before?
Is that what happened? Oh my God.
I think it was a day before. I think
It was the day before. Yeah, before the
crazy.
opening. Yep.
That was another change, actually. The killing of John Smith was downstage.
You
Then
are right.
They moved it upstage. Oh wait, it's vice versa. I can't remember.
Yeah,
No,
It
it went
was upstage. They moved it downstage.
Right.
the John Smith hair was actually real. And then we did Phoebus later on, and I had to get the little attachment. But no, it fried my hair. I mean, it was like straw. I remember the last show. I went backstage and got it cut.
I wish I could have taken my wig. I loved my wig. During that time when we've actually found out that they were actually changing the entire stage for
Hunchback.
Hunchback, yeah.
That's when we started realizing, oh my God, we need to do something to like remember where we're here. Oh, also there was a telephone book that had the show was on the cover, and so I have one of those, and that was basically
Really?
it.
Wow.
I never
Oh, take a picture of
No,
that.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Oh, cool.
Okay,
Share, Glenn, share.
I'll do that.
No, I have Grandmother Willow in my living room.
Nice.
Nice.
For this story, though, they ended up doing a little Pocahontas show at Animal Kingdom, and they actually used the grandmother willow from our show to be in that show. And they still have, in one of the rehearsal halls at Disney right now, they still have the shawl hanging up in the sky.
How many fights were had between these two John Smiths? I need to know.
No, actually, I mean, Michael and I always got along, and it was an odd. I mean, for me, it was strange because I had never been in a show where you've got somebody doing the same role at the same time. I mean, and that you're sharing a role, and I always felt like Michael was almost like my brother. I mean, we got along even through the next show and after that. I never had a problem, and always enjoyed working with Michael, even though I didn't get to share the stage with him at the same time, but I always enjoyed working with him.
It was more about family, I have to say, with this show.
Yeah, because it wasn't just cast members. It was the wardrobe and the tech guys.
The easiest, happiest cast that Disney has ever had, I believe.
Oh, remember when we used to hide in the bushes and the little tour tram would come by and we'd...
Oh, yeah! We got a bit up that it was like an added, fun for them.
Oh, and we would go to Steak and Shake after, between shows in our costumes outside of the gates. Remember that?
Yes, we get in trouble. I mean, if they found out, we would have been in so much trouble.
Yeah, because it was too much trouble to try to put all of those pieces back in.
So what was the funniest thing you guys think ever happened on stage?
Oh, the Pocahontas show. When Ellen was singing, when Ellen was singing and swallowed a fake rose petal. Swallowed.
I was there for that one.
I know.
Right. Oh my God.
And then she
left me. She left me. She swallowed a rose petal from the flower girl that was shaking as she looks up and she's singing. The flower girl's shaking the basket, and the rose petal goes right down her throat in mid-song. So then she's like choking, and she leaves me at a critical time because she's supposed to take me to meet the animals, where all the guys are dressed as animals and they come descending upon John Smith. I was left by myself.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. Hi, animals. Hi.
I came to you because I was in that show.
I remember that.
And I was looking at you, rubbing myself against you. I'm like, where's she at? Where's she at? Literally put on the track, and all you heard is the track singing and Johnsman and us going to him, hey, what's up?
Have her continue singing, not on stage, was the funniest part. It became the spirit of Pocahontas.
Wait, so she did? I can't remember. So she did start. She continued to sing off stage.
Well, she said
they did the track.
They did the track, but she came in.
Oh, the track. Oh, that's right.
But you should have seen Mark's face when that happened, and I went to him. I'm like, "Where's she at? What you doing now?" Really talking, and he's looking like an idiot. Like, I don't know. Okay, so he kept going. It was the funniest thing ever to me, ever.
Mark, you remember? And happened to both of us. At the end of our song, we shoot the gun, and at one time or another, someone hung like a bird in the tree behind the stage manager's booth. And we shot, they dropped like a dead bird, dropped to the ground. We shot our gun.
One of those dead fake chickens, you know.
Yeah, it was like a prop.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it was a real bird. I was like, what?
That's why we closed.
Well, you know, there was she's not on here, but Marita. I don't know if you remember Marita. Played Pocahontas. She was funny, but she they had this thing where the Savages number, and they're kind of sneaking up. They're behind Pocahontas, but she's got a scene with me. She's facing me. So, but she would always do this indication with her eyes, like something's coming. She would turn, her eyes would go to the side, and she would do this thing like, "Do you feel that?" Like, she'd give me this take that would make me have to try and not laugh.
Oh my God.
Every time, because she's like, somebody's behind us.
We would finish the show, and we'd be backstage up on top of that, whatever that drop lift was.
Oh, the vortex?
The vortex.
Sometimes we didn't get the vortex. Sometimes it would shimmy down, and we're like, you could take. At any given time, that could go out, and we'd be, because if we didn't disappear, then it looked really stupid.
We just stood there. Hi.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get on to some 3 fun Disney questions. We like to call them the Fab 3 on the Tiara Talk Show. They're Donald, Goofy, and Mickey questions. So the first question is the Donald one. As a child, what Disney film would you like to watch over and over and over again?
I think it was Cinderella. I liked Cinderella a lot.
For me, it was probably Snow White, and I had like a book also, because I'm a little older, so it's past that. But I had a book also that my grandma had bought, and it was a Snow White book, and I used to like watch the movie and then look at the book at the same time. It was fun.
Well, I haven't actually grown up yet, so it would have to be.
Shocker.
I would have to say Lion King and Pocahontas, really, because the Lion King, it had that first story, that meaningful story behind it, and then Pocahontas was the second one. But as far as like for a meaningful story, it would be Lion King and Pocahontas.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yes!
I like that story.
I love Beauty and the Beast.
I'm going to go with Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good one.
I like all the animation with the live action stuff.
I'd probably say newer one, probably Aladdin. And one of the older ones, probably, I would say, man, I got so many. I love them all. For the older one, I'd probably say Beauty and the Beast.
I would have to say Jungle Book.
Oh, okay.
Good one.
Nice. Good one.
And now the Goofy question. What Disney character do you think would be your best friend if you met them in person? And this is not counting any characters from Pocahontas.
Ah.
Ooh, who would be my best friend?
Who would be my best friend?
I have to say probably Jasmine, because I think, well, when I first saw Jasmine, I was like, wow, look, it's a brown girl in a Disney show. Yay!
Uh-huh.
So, but she's feisty, she's smart, and she's independent. I think probably, and she's kind. I think probably Jasmine would be my best friend.
I would probably be best friend with Aladdin. He's just like me.
One of the ones I liked really awesome was Scar from Lion King. I wouldn't necessarily be his best friend, but he's someone I would watch and try to learn from. It's like, wow, he is calculating. He thinks on his feet, just as long as you don't hurt anybody.
That would be Stitch. You know, we're both into Elvis. You know, we dress up like Elvis and sing. Because we're both from outer space now.
No, that's Glenn.
Thank you very much.
I gotta go with Genie.
I would have to say Aladdin too.
Yeah.
He's just like me, man. Adventurous, fun, and crazy.
I'll say Hercules.
And our last question, the Mickey question. If I asked you to name any Disney song at this very moment, what immediately comes to mind?
Don't ask me why, but Something There from Beauty and the Beast came into my mind.
I would probably say also Beauty and the Beast because, you know, it's been part of my life for the past 14 years. So that's the first one that comes to mind. Just Beauty and the Beast.
Circle of Life, Lion King.
Oh, good one.
Mine would be part of would be coming out of the Beauty and the Beast. Also, it's when Beast and Belle are in the snow, and that she didn't even look at my paw. That song.
Oh yeah, something there.
I would Out There from Hunchback.
Oh, that's a good song. Freddie's song.
Out There is great.
I do like Out There. Out There's a beautiful song.
I would probably say Genie, Friend Like Me.
Well, I'm still kind of surrounded by Disney stuff, so I just did Nemo today, so Just Keep Swimming is in my head. Or
I love it.
I know, I love so many, man. It's so hard to pick.
Yeah. Or the obvious choice for probably many people is Let It Go, because we hear that everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Audrey, Jeff, Glenn, Martin, Michael, Juan, and Mark for coming on the show. Listeners, please take a look at The Spirit of Pocahontas. There's many videos of it on YouTube, so you can find Michael and Mark. You have to look closely to see the difference between them as John Smith. And you also look for the rest of the cast. You guys are amazing in the show as well. Each performance is very unique and different than the other. It's definitely worth taking a look. So thank you all again for coming on the show. And before we head out to the Riverbend, I just wanted to ask you all... There's my joke, but I'm bummed.
Nice touch.
Thank you. Can each of you tell us a word that comes to mind when you think about The Spirit of Pocahontas?
Memorable.
No thinking about it. Wingapo.
Missed.
Family.
Camaraderie.
Spirit.
I was going to say family as well.